Did you see the rainbow in that opening sequence over the ocean? So incredible. And I love how the light is shining on this hill. In this episode, we are headed to the Cape of Good Hope. Bless you for your generous gifts. It is just remarkable and I appreciate it so much. Please, please, please give this video a thumbs up. So I'm headed to Simonstown first and then to Cape Point. And this is on the way to Simonstown. It's really beautiful terrain and there's the town itself nestled against the hillside. I just love it. So traveling by car instead of the motorcycle is definitely a huge adjustment. I am really kind of still perplexed on how to do this and just how different it is than the motorcycle. Some things are much easier, but it's definitely not as enjoyable. So I went to Boulder's area here to see the penguins, and this is right near Simonstown, and they were so fun. There were penguins everywhere. This guy looked like he might bite me if I let him. But they were sweet and funny. And there were two paths you could take. You could go along a boardwalk for free and saw quite a few penguins, but you could also go down to the beach, and the beach was very beautiful. I ended up doing both. The cost wasn't too much, trying to stay in that budget, but I'm grateful that I did both. And the money to get down to the beach also supports the center that helps care for the penguins. So I felt like it was money well spent. I didn't realize that the African penguin was at risk for extinction, and I've never checked under my car for a penguin before, so that was a new experience. And this one found his way on the other side of the fence and was underneath the boardwalk. He looked like he could definitely bite you on the finger. Then I saw another one on the other side of the fence, and I told myself this story that they were like mates and that they got separated and that they needed my help somehow, and I was looking for a hole in the fence that I could try to get the other one through, and I realized I was just telling myself a story and they probably do this all the time. So I left them alone. Then there were a bunch of these dassies around everywhere. They're like squirrels. They were all over the place, and I think they were partially begging for food too in some places. And just like on Table Mountain, there were signs saying don't feed them because they can bite you. But I'm sure people still do. And there was some information about the penguins in the area, and I thought it was interesting that there were so many varieties. I don't know anything about penguins, being from Colorado, but yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a good center, and I'm grateful that I helped support them a little bit. The beach was fun, and I'm glad I went down there. You still had to stay on the boardwalk, and you got to be closer to the penguins and see them near the water, and that was fun. They look like such silly creatures. And then I don't know anything about penguin behavior, but it looks like this guy is helping with the nest. You look at it and you tell me what you think. It was really, really fun. And he just waddles along, and then looks like they're having a conversation about how like that's the wrong color, or put it there, or something's happening there. I don't know what that's all about. It was really great to see them. These were my first penguins in the wild, being from Colorado. And then there were a bunch of these dassies all over, like I was saying before. And another name for them I found out is called a rock rabbit. That seemed pretty fitting. And then this is one of the guys that looks like he might be begging for food and been successful in the past. And I've been told that I'll have lots of opportunities in Argentina to see penguins as well. I really enjoyed this, and this one looked like he was a toddler that just woke up from a nap and needed somebody to change his diaper. He was pretty cute, seemed kind of confused and sleepy. There were several of these plastic shelters where there were nesting birds, and that is a baby that one penguin is laying on. You can tell by the little feathers on this one, that's kind of fuzzy. Yeah, that's a fairly new baby. Really cute, looking for mom. And then I saw this motorcycle, the sidecar, and it looks like you could rent a spot in the sidecar and be driven around the area. Pretty cool, but I think it would only make my longing for my motorcycle worse. So after I was done with the penguins, I started heading towards the Cape of Good Hope, and it was just gorgeous. And there were signs everywhere about being careful of baboons. You don't have to tell me twice, I'll stay well away from them. And although there were a lot of people, the national park did not disappoint. Very dramatic, beautiful landscape, and lots of animals that we're gonna see here in a little bit. I'm grateful I went, and it's very beautiful, but there were a lot of people. And I love this sign, it's like a surprise tortoise, really cool. But this is such a beautiful area, and I found a spot where there were not as many people, but there were lots and lots of baboons. And this is one of the benefits of having a car. You can sit there and be amongst the baboons, and I don't have to worry about them like coming too close to me or anything else. Maybe they wouldn't even do that, but I could just sit in my car and watch, and they didn't seem to be bothered. And this might be an impala, I'm not really sure. If anybody knows what kind of antelope this is, please let me know. We're gonna see some others later on in the video, but yeah, so cool to see him. Like the Atlantic Ocean in the background, and I'm here at the Cape of Good Hope, and it's just really so awesome. Such a blessing to be here and see these things and do these things. I really appreciate it, and I'm very grateful for it. This is one of those times where I felt like I had that moment of clarity where I realize where I'm at and what I'm doing and what's happening, and it's really fantastic, such a gift. Then as I went further down the road, look what I encountered. I couldn't believe it. This was such a crazy thing. And I spent a great deal of time here with these two, trying to get some good video and pictures of them. If you notice, these ostrich are pretty brown. The color of the plumage is more of a brown, and we're gonna see some later that are more black. And the males are more black, and the adolescents and the females are more that brown plumage. And there were lots of beautiful wildflowers too. I was grateful for that. But these ostriches were so silly, and I was able to get so close to them, and that was just such a treat for me. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time enjoying these ostrich and just hanging out with them, and they did not seem to care at all. And I'm very grateful that I got to be so close to them. And it was such a beautiful area, all kinds of foliage too. It was really great. So have the birds and the flowers and the ocean and all that stuff. Look how close I am. So silly. And yeah, how much fun. Look how beautiful these flowers are. And then the seashells are really cool. What a great experience. Oh, and then I saw this and I was like, hey Dawson, look, poop, ha ha ha. And then, so I went to drive to a different part of the Cape, and just really a gorgeous area. This gives you some idea where I'm at. Table Mountain is further north there, and then I'm near the tip of the Cape. And then I saw this eland, my second eland, and they're just massive creatures. Look at the shoulders, the front shoulders on that beast. What a crazy creature. And that big thick neck. Yeah, they're a giant antelope, that's for sure. This made me think of a conversation I had with a friend recently about how the tourists are so awed by the elk in Estes Park, where the locals kind of see them like squirrels or, oh, look, it's another elk. And I'm sure the people that are here every day working here are like, oh, look, another eland, who cares? But for me, it's a very special treat, and I was pretty excited to see them. Then I ran into some of the bigger male ostrich as well, and you can see the darker black plumage, and they are bigger for sure. And this will give you an idea. I'm working my way further south towards the tip of the Cape here. Then this will give you some idea where I am relative to the entire continent. Pretty close to the very southern tip. And I got down to the sign for the Cape of Good Hope, but a tour bus had just pulled up, and there were all kinds of people, so I did not stay long. It was way too many people for me. And you have to really read that sign carefully. It was kind of deceptive. It said it was the southwesternmost point, which is true, but there is another point in South Africa that is the southernmost point of the continent, and I'm definitely headed there. So with encountering all those people and stuff, I was ready to call it a day. And on the outside of the park, there were these baboons all over the road, like grooming each other and stuff. Right in the middle of the road, so that had traffic blocked for a while, but I got to take some pictures, I guess, and it was a safe distance, but I was concerned about them being right on the road, and I'm sure it was nice and warm in the sun for them to be grooming and doing their thing. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate your financial support. It makes such a difference. Please give this a thumbs up, and peace and love to you all.